Coming up on Mountain News this morning, prosecutors dropped the fetal homicide charge against a woman who was charged after police say she aborted her baby. And a West Virginia woman charged with attempted murder appears in court.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm McKinley Calandrino here with you on this Thursday, January 8th. The time is now 5:32. Let's check in with First Alert meteorologist Megan Desmall for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, good morning. I know we've talked a little bit about it. I have my boots on this morning. I know the viewers might want to wear their boots this weekend, so tell me a little bit more.
Absolutely true. Now, these boots might be a fashion boot kind of day if you want to go out that way like McKinley is. But yes, we're watching the rain chances picking up as we're heading into your Friday and Saturday, so you're definitely going to need those rain boots, especially on Saturday. So let's break that down right now. We're just looking at a little bit of clouds, and that's all you can expect today is partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. So a rather dreary day with cold temperatures this morning sitting in a mixture of the 30s and 40s. But the good news is it will be warming up, and by the time we head into the afternoon, we're going to see a significant improvement of those temperatures with Thursday's highs mostly in the mid to upper 60s. Now, we're going to see some 64s for our far northern counties, but that's not too bad, especially when you consider we should be at 44 degrees, nearly 20 degrees colder for most folks. So it's going to get warm, and we're going to see the warmest temperatures as we're heading into about that 4 o'clock time frame. And again, plenty of cloud cover all day long. McKinley.
Thank you, Megan. A bridge collapsed in West Virginia, resulting in 3 workers taken to the hospital Wednesday. According to Wheeling police, 1 person was seriously hurt and 2 others had minor injuries. The workers were on a bridge when it suddenly fell into the water. The crossing had been closed since nearly December, and crews have been working on a replacement. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused the collapse. Prosecutors dropped the fetal homicide charge against a woman and against a Wolfe County woman who was arrested after police say she aborted her baby. The initial fetal homicide charge did not apply because, according to Kentucky law, Spencer is exempt as the woman who was pregnant, and so are medical providers. Lexington attorney Sarah Langer says the fetal homicide charge is in place to make sure if someone kills a pregnant woman's child, they are able to be charged for that death.
If the people of the Commonwealth want this to be prosecuted, then call your legislator. Elect people that align with your values and get people in office that will create a law to prosecute this.
Commonwealth's attorney Miranda King says the indictments against Spencer on charges of the concealing of the birth of an infant, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with physical evidence still stands. A West Virginia woman charged with attempted murder and arson appears in court yesterday for arraignment. Angel Hunt is charged with arson, attempted murder, strangulation, and 2 counts of tampering with physical evidence. Investigators say she tied up a Pike County woman in December using an extension cord, then beat her and placed her toes into a heater before setting her home on fire. Hunt is being held on a $1 million cash bond, which the judge kept in place yesterday. And representatives with the Commonwealth's attorney office says the victim, Nancy Gearles, is still being treated for her injuries nearly 1 month after the incident.
We believe that the victim in this case is still an inpatient in the hospital. She did suffer serious physical injuries, which is one of the elements of assault first degree.
Hunt returned to the Pike County Detention Center and is expected to be back in court for a pretrial conference on June 3rd. The Lexington Police Department has solved the cold case murder of Linda Rutledge. They made the announcement yesterday. Rutledge was found shot to death in a burning building on Malibu Drive back in 1998. Police say the suspect was serial killer Robert Brashears. He was tied to the infamous yogurt shop murders case in Austin, Texas earlier this year. 4 teenage girls were killed in those murders, and Brasher died in 1999. But Lexington Police Sergeant Bige Towery says they identified him as the killer because of DNA testing and ballistic evidence. Yesterday marked 34 years since a young woman was killed inside her Middlesboro home, a case that remains unsolved. But as WYMT's Caroline Mueller reports, Kentucky State Police are still searching for answers, and Greta Henson's mother says she believes those answers will come true.
34 years after Greta Henson was killed inside her Middlesboro home, her case remains open. Kentucky State Police say the passage of time has not changed their responsibility to the victim or her family.
We know that justice has no expiration date, and therefore we owe it to the family, we owe it to the victim to keep pushing for answers.
For Greta's mother, Josephine, the years without answers have been difficult, but she wants her daughter to be remembered for who she was.
She was real nice. She had a real good turn. She's real friendly, real kind, and, you know, one of the best daughters you could ever have. I miss seeing her, and there's been times I could almost feel like she's in the room with me.
Josephine says she finds comfort in knowing the case has not been forgotten.
It means a lot. At times we get that disheartened, you know, think that they maybe not even be working on it, but when they do, you know, it makes us feel better.
Investigators say cold cases often depend on memories, details that once seemed small.
No matter how small the piece may be, it can be very crucial and critical in a investigation such as this.
Josephine says justice would bring peace after decades of waiting, and she believes it will come.
I know that they won't get away with it. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, I will repay.
In Bell County, Caroline Mueller, WYMT Mountain News.
Anyone with information about Greta Henson's murder is asked to contact Kentucky State Police Post 10 in Harlan. That phone number is 606-573-3131. Tips can be made anonymously, and Trooper Jacob says this is just one of the many cold cases they are continuing to investigate. Another notable one is the disappearance of Georgia Nolan. 2026 will mark 50 years since she vanished. A thick wall of fog is blamed for a massive chain reaction crash in Pulaski County. At least 16 vehicles were involved. It happened yesterday morning around 8 a.m. on Kentucky 1247 near Cooper Power Plant Road. Police say a car hit the back of a dump truck and the collisions quickly piled up behind it due to extremely low visibility. At least 3 people were seriously hurt. No one was killed. Pulaski EMS says drivers had less than a second to react.
At 4-lane highway, high speed limit of 55 miles an hour. Of course, in dense fog, you do not need to be running 55 miles an hour. Speed was a factor in some of these collisions. They was definitely traveling too fast for the road conditions.
Douglas says Kentucky State Police are currently investigating all the details on the accident. Police arrested a Harlan County man who they say assaulted and strangled his girlfriend. The incident happened on December 27th when Kentucky State Police responded to a domestic incident at 759 Yoakum Creek Road in the Everts area. The victim told troopers that Dylan Cupp had struck her multiple times in the face. She told police Cupp had got upset because he believed she was cheating on him. He was taken to the Harlan County Detention Center. The case was waived to a grand jury. And in Laurel County, a man was taken to jail after he was accused of possessing meth. Police made the arrest on Jess Messer Tuesday night on Kentucky 552. It started when police conducted a traffic stop as the vehicle Messer was driving had committed a registration violation. Police discovered Messer had no operator's license, and when a canine was deployed to search the vehicle, what police suspected was meth was found. Messer was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. And Governor Andy Beshear gave his annual State of the Commonwealth address last night. Beshear started out by talking about how democracy needs a functional country to leave behind for generations to come. And it's everyone who needs to do the work for a brighter future. He says we must continue to focus on bettering the lives of Kentuckians.
I'm proud to say that no administration has created more. Last year, we delivered once again, announcing more than $10.5 billion in private sector investment and creating 9,600 new jobs.
The governor focused on the American dream and how Kentucky will bring hope back to it. A meeting in Ashland last night allowed Kentucky Power customers to weigh in on a proposed rate hike. The proposed hike would raise rates by 14.9% for residential customers. The Public Service Commission has been hosting public meetings to allow customers to voice their opinions. The next and final meeting was last night. There's a new statewide initiative focused on carbon monoxide safety, including proactive inspections on aging buildings. Governor Beshear says the inspections will start with schools, followed by daycares and senior living facilities. The inspections will check furnace rooms, HVAC systems, kitchen equipment, and emergency monitoring devices to make sure everything is up to code. Carbon monoxide symptoms of exposure can include headaches, dizziness, nausea, confusion, and fainting. The nominees are an act for this year's Actor Awards. That and more in a look of today's Eye on Entertainment report.
And we've talked about the rain, but how much rain can you expect as we're heading through the next couple of days? I'll have that answer.